My son had already finished his exam by lunchtime. My wife had not. He came home, dropped his bag on the sofa, and went straight to the kitchen looking for something to eat. How did it go? She asked. Okay, he said, already opening the fridge. She followed him in. What do you mean, okay? Did you attempt all the 5 mark questions? Did you have time for everything? He shrugged and went back to being 13. By evening, he had more or less forgotten the exam existed. She was still going over it, answer by answer, long after he had moved on. I watched the whole thing from the hallway, half amused, telling myself I wasn't like that. I don't usually follow up like she does. But the truth caught up with me pretty fast. I hadn't asked him 5 questions at the door, but I carried that same number in my own head for the rest of the evening. I sat there with the laptop open in front of me, running my own private replay instead of actually working on it. The exam belonged to him. The anxiety belonged to us in two different shapes. And somewhere along the way, both of us had quietly lost track of where his life ended and ours began. It isn't only about exams either. A phone call that ran a little too long, a friend she didn't quite trust, and my wife would be the one lying awake, turning it over long after our son had already gone to sleep without a second thought about it. And it isn't only about exams or only about sons. A friend of mine has a daughter who has just entered her teenage years, and is going through something that looks totally different on the outside, but is really the same thing underneath. She raises her voice more easily now. She cuts the call the moment he asks an uncomfortable question. Her bedroom door stays locked from the inside, and every closed door feels to him like a message he cannot quite read. He carries this stress everywhere. It sits with him at work, at dinner, in the quiet minutes before sleep. Another friend of his, whose daughter is already grown and out of the house, hears all this and just smiles a little. That's just how daughters grow, she says. Mine went through exactly this. She's fine now, more than fine. And she's probably right, but knowing that doesn't make my friend's stress disappear. He still checks his phone. He still replays the locked door. He still feels the tantrum long after his daughter has moved on to whatever she's doing next, probably already laughing about something else entirely. That is really the same pattern showing up in different homes in different ways. Sometimes the child has already moved on from the exam, the argument, or the slammed door. It is the parent who is still living inside it. This begins honestly enough. When a child is very small, this closeness is not a flaw, it's simply survival. If the baby does not sleep, we don't sleep. If they are unwell, nothing else in the world matters. In those early years, there is barely any distance between how the parent is doing and how the child is doing, and there shouldn't be. But children grow, and the distance is supposed to grow with them too. Not a cold distance, just a normal space between two different lives. What I have noticed is that this instinct to hold on doesn't really go away on its own. It just finds a new place to attach itself. First, it's the baby's sleep. Then the toddler's tantrums, then the exam, then the locked door. One day it will be a career choice or the person they choose to marry. At every stage, we find a new reason to stay tangled up in a life that was never fully ours to feel. Some of this is really love, but some of it, if I am honest, is fear. A poor result frightens a parent because we see an entire future packed into one number. A locked door unsettles a parent because we can't bear not knowing what's happening on the other side of it. And without ever meaning to, we stop reacting to what actually happened and start reacting to what it seems to say about us. Did I fail as a parent? Did I not raise her to talk to me? What will people think watching this from outside? That's the moment concern quietly turns into something else. The child stops being just someone we love and starts feeling like proof of something. Proof that we did things right. Proof that all our effort meant something. And once we start seeing them that way, their privacy gets hard to accept. Their silence starts to feel like rejection. Their mood starts to feel like our own failure. I've seen this stretch across an entire lifetime too. Some of the parents I know have grown children now, in their 40s, settled, successful, living full lives of their own. And they still lose sleep over every decision those children make, where they live, whom they married, whether they called often enough this month. Their children grew up long ago. Their own emotional role in the story never quite did. For 15 years, my usefulness arrived at my door in a school bag. Homework to check, a lunch to pack, a form to sign, a worry to carry. If the bag stops needing me one day, I have to already know who I am without it. Most of us never stop to ask that question until the day arrives on its own. To raise our children without losing ourselves in their lives, we have to keep finding that line again and again for as long as we are parenting at all. Her locked door may last an hour. His reaction to it can occupy the entire night. His low mark is not a verdict on who I am as a father. My replaying it long after he has moved on to something else is where the real cost sits. None of this means caring less. It means noticing when our care quietly turns into our own unrest. The next time your child comes home upset or slams a door or cuts a call short, notice something different. Not what you do for them, but what happens inside you afterward. The phone you keep checking, the mood you keep carrying into the rest of your evening, the reply you keep rehearsing at midnight long after they have fallen asleep without a second thought about it. That's the part we can actually hold on to. Not their door, not their silence, but our own evening, our own sleep, our own next hour, which does not have to be handed over to something that for them has probably already passed. Part of why this is so hard to catch is that being needed feels good. There is nothing shameful in that. It gave my days a shape, my worry a purpose, my presence a reason. But that same comfort is exactly why I kept holding on longer than the moment actually asked for. One sentence has helped me more than any advice ever did. I can stay close to this without letting it become mine to carry. Said honestly at the right moment, it does not mean I feel less. It means I stop confusing my child's storm with my own. A child needs a parent who can hold concern without becoming consumed by it. Composure is not indifference. It is the ability to remain caring without losing your own ground. Their life is going to move through success and failure, closeness and distance, tantrums and stillness, the way every life does. We can walk beside them through all of it and carry them when something is genuinely too heavy. But their exam, their mood, their locked door was never ours to carry as if it were our own. Raise them, care for them completely, stay close every single day, but do not hand your peace over to a life that was never meant to run on it. Your child's peace is theirs to build. Yours was always meant to be your own.